it doesn't seem like he has much foresight on that. So I didn't rank him real high on that. And apart from that, I don't know what his bug out plan is, so I don't know what he'll do if his garden is no longer a suitable location. Or he didn't have much in the way of firearms that I could tell, or a way to defend that garden. So that's why I don't rank him higher. So go down the list. Again, there's Blade, there's Constant Gardener, Suburban Pawn Yuppies from before, Doris Day of Doom. Then the ever lovable Thumb Dad. I tried to think of a better name, but I think that's about as good as I can do. Thumb Dad is here with his kids, teaching his kids how to shoot. And of course, he's all over YouTube getting blasted for blasting his thumb off. Now, as dumbass a thing as that was to do, it'd be easier for me to knock him lower on this list. I could have just, Thumb Dad, you're a dumbass. I'm putting you next to Party Cat Chick. I'm not going to do that. I was tempted to because of, the stupidity of him blowing off his own thumb on national TV. It's definitely dumb. And, I don't know what he's doing. He's like, well, we can do all this shit at the, out here in the wild where we can't do at the range, Well, you still need to have some damn safety rules, Here's a book, NRA Guide to the Basics of Pistol Shooting, or it's true for rifle shooting too, This is $20. I got this when I took my first weapons class. Any NRA guy is going to tell you basic firearm safety, the 3 fundamental rules for safe gun handling. Always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. He did not do that. Always keep your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. He did not do that. Always keep the gun unloaded until ready to use. He did not do that. He's dicking around with the gun with one hand with his finger around the trigger guard, not on the frame as it should be when he's not firing, or not ready to fire, and put his other hand in front of the damn barrel. And he says it was a malfunction. He explains later, what actually happened, but it wasn't a malfunction. The malfunction was in his brain and very poor gun safety habits. So when people can make fun of gun safety or whatever, I've heard some other people on YouTube be like, everybody's all wrapped up in gun safety. Well, you can be the next Thumb Dad too, if you don't think gun safety is important when you're handling it, especially teaching your kids to handle firearms. I'm sure, hopefully those kids will remember this lesson about firearm safety that their idiotic dad wound up doing. Pretty big fail on gun safety, of course, on that. Fortunate that his thumb is the worst of that, I guess. But anyway, apart from blowing off his thumb, which, I guess I had a picture of that too, where he's passing out. Apart from that, it looked like he was really trying on the preps. He's got his own little sort of startup business selling those shovel blades that can cut up pigs. That might be useful. I wouldn't mind having one of those. If there's one on the internet somewhere, I might buy one of those. I admit, hey, it's a hammer, it's a shovel, it's got a blade. It looked like a decent little invention. That's cool. He was looking for a shipping container to build a bug out place out in the so he could have a retreat. Good. He's building up food stores. Apart from being an idiot about gun safety, he had some pretty good preps. He had all the basic preps you want. He had his kids involved, so good for him. All right. Brings me to, I go just down from 6 to 5. I call him God, Guns, and Whiskey, and that is this guy here. He has a lot of shit. He has a lot of guns, more guns than anybody else on this list. More, and just to go over the list again, I've still got my top 4 as the same. But unlike the Sardi one, who I ranked just above him, this guy's a lot like the Sardi one. He seems to be a little bit of a southerner. He seems to be, hey, calm down. Sorry, she's acting up. Okay. He seems to be a bit of a southerner. He is, got guns at the wazoo. He's got, some water, just a little bottled water. He's got some food stored up. He just looked like he just goes to Sam's Club and loads up on crap, which is good. He's loaded up on a lot of crap. He's got a lot of crap, and he's ready to barter. Presuming he's in a situation where he can barter, then he's got a lot to barter with, for sure. He's holding silver there in front of us. He's got whiskey to, doesn't even drink whiskey, but he's got to barter. Assuming we're in a stable bartering economy, that's good. If he's got a bug out, I don't know where he's not going to take half this crap with him. He doesn't seem to have a bug out. That's the main problem with God, Guns, and Whiskey, is that he does not have very good planning as far as what will happen when I got to leave this location. What will happen when my bottled water runs out? What will happen when I'm out of pre-manufactured food? He needs to think about alternate water filtration methods, bugging out. At one point he was like, I don't have very much ammo. I got like 70 gajillion guns, but I got no ammo. That's planning, man. Those guns are maybe good to barter, but you want to be able to have some ammo to fire those puppies. So, anyway, that's my rankings of the new Doomsday Preppers. I kind of put them right next to each other, so they're both good. But I'm going to keep watching the show and keep ranking these guys. Tell me if you still like my rankings, if you think that I've put anybody too high or too low. What do you think about Thumb Dad? And what are have you seen a worse gun safety accident? Maybe you have. I don't know. About to run out of time here on this, so appreciate your comments, appreciate the channel views, and this is Western Kansas Prepper signing off.